comments at the end. So, let's start with the history of the purchase. This marina was officially purchased by the town of Chestertown on April 30th, 2012. If you do the math, we've owned this facility now for 2 years and 1 month. The price of the purchase at the end of the day, when all the parcels were put together, was about $2,045,000. We got a bond to put the money down. Our yearly debt service is about $145,000. And in our first 2 years of owning this, approximate income each year is about $90,000. Now, if you do a little quick math, you'll see that this marina is not paying it for itself by a margin of about $55,000. There's two ways you could look at that. You could look at it as a total loss, and every taxpayer in Chestertown is paying about $11 a year to own this facility. Or you could look at it as, each year that we pay this off, we own a little bit more of the marina, kind of like a mortgage on your home. And I'm sure there's people that have views that run the gamut on that viewpoint in this room. But that's the reality. Why did this marina get purchased to begin with? First and foremost, the goal was to preserve access to and from the Chester River, both for transient boaters coming to Chestertown, for residents that want to keep their boats in the river on a year-round basis, and also for pedestrians coming down on foot. We wanted to ensure that they had public access to the river. We wanted to preserve, we felt that was an important piece of our history. Chestertown was founded as a working port in 1706. That's part of our culture and who we are. Thirdly, as a municipality, we have access to grant funds that a private entrepreneur, a for-profit marina owner, simply doesn't have access to. And lastly, when a marina gets to the stage that this marina is in the private sector, almost inevitably what ends up happening is what happened next door. Somebody purchases the property, they look at the numbers, they see that they don't work, the property gets basically condominiumized or developed in some manner, the slips become privatized, and if that were to happen to this marina, we would never basically be a port any longer, because transient boaters would have nowhere to go. So that was some of the reasoning behind this. So let's take a look at the property. This is a funky property. This is several lots that were pieced together by Roy Kirby and Sons when he owned this property. One thing that makes this a challenge is that we don't own the fish whistle, which is kind of a big rectangle smack dab in the property lines. The property abuts residences to the north on the other side of Front Street here, the Chester River to our south, Scotts Point directly to our east, and Cannon Street to the east, which is a town-owned street. And if you look at that lot from an overhead view, the parcel looks like this. So here's what I was talking about, how it's kind of this strange configuration, and here's the fish whistle, and we even own this little strip here between the fish whistle and the river. So the lack of continuity or contiguity, if you will, creates some real challenges when you're trying to design and rehabilitate this facility. If you put those lines sort of over a real photograph, it looks kind of like this. So to give you some orientation, here's where we are now, looking out at the river. Here's the fish whistle, and they own about this much parking area. And then again, this little weird little jog kind of from the foot of the corner here over to the foot of Cannon Street. Another view, just to give you another perspective, here's an overhead view showing the same property, all right, with the little jog. Here's the fish whistle. Here's Scotts Point. It's important to note that these three docks in red are technically the three docks that are part of this marina. This downriver dock is owned by Scotts Point, and this purple dock is owned by the town. That was a dock that was implemented in conjunction with the launch of the schooner Sultana. It also houses Echo Hill Outdoor Schools boats. It was paid for 1/3 by the town, 1/3 by Sultana's organization, and 1/3 by Echo Hill, but it is now currently owned by the town, by the municipality.